Hi everyone, welcome to eLearnChat, where talk, it's knowledge. And today we've got some good knowledge to share with you. I'm joined with with our co-host, the one, the
Linda
only,
Joy.
Linda Joy. How are you, Linda?
I'm doing great. How are you doing,
I'm
Rick?
doing well, and we actually just met on this about a half hour ago. We did a test of our new network device interface settings, which worked for us, but isn't working for our guest today. But we're moving on anyway until we can figure out what died. So here's our little intro. And we're back. And today joining us is David Kelly. He is the Senior Vice President at the eLearning Guild. He's also the Executive Director of the eLearning Guild events. And he's a busy guy. He's got one of the biggest shows in the whole e-learning industry, if not the biggest one. DevLearn coming up in what, about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, how you doing, David?
I'm doing well. How are you both doing?
We're doing
Great.
pretty well, and having you on makes us feel even better. It's been a while. We haven't talked in probably about a good year. I see you at DevLearn every so often, but you're usually pretty busy there, running around trying to keep everybody, working correctly. But what's new this year in DevLearn?
DevLearn is always, in many ways, DevLearn is about what's new. It's what makes it one of my favorite shows of the year. I mean, there are a lot of great shows, ours and others in the industry, but DevLearn is the one that always has a special place in my heart about shaping what's next. It's where you go to kind of see what's going on, and this year is going to be no exception. I know we've got a lot of programmatically, we've got a lot of good things that are going to be new for this year. We've got an enhanced realities track at the event and special focus, showcasing some of the stuff people are doing in virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, showcasing some of the early work that's being done in our industry to help people get some clarity around that. We've got a number of cutting-edge implementations of a lot of emerging technologies that are just new to the industry or new uses of existing technology within our industry. And one of the things I'm uniquely excited about this year is I know a number of vendors are planning on releasing new updates, new things at DevLearn this year. So there's going to be a lot of excitement not only at the conference but also within the expo hall as well.
Sounds good. Yeah, let me take a guess. Who's going to release new stuff? I would bet. I'll do two bets. Well, I'll do one because I think I know another one. But Articulate's probably due for a new release, so I think they may announce. That would be cool. I can't think of anybody else right offhand, but that's cool. That's actually fun when they use the events as a way to showcase some of what they're doing that's new and all that. That's good. I know last year in Vegas, you guys had about 3,000 people, or real close to. It was a big event. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, the registration this year is knock on wood, it's still extremely strong. We had just under 3,000 people last year. We're trending to be at around 3,200 this year, so
that's great.
It continues to grow. Just a lot of excitement and buzz around the event this year. I'm really looking forward to getting it started in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's funny, people who haven't done trade shows or events, it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Oh gosh, it really is. I mean, I know when I first started with the Guild, one of the first questions that I kind of came to the table with as someone who speaks at events fairly often was, why do we do our call for proposals so early? It's the event is 8 months away. Why are we doing a call for proposal? I get it now. I totally get why an event needs to do their call for proposals as early as they do, because there are a lot of moving parts that are required to get people to be aware of the event and to put all the structure in place to create that experience. And one of the things the Guild does extremely well is making it look easy. Mm-hmm. We have a great team of people who create a really, really valuable experience for people, and it's smooth, and it's a credit to the team that we have that they do such a great job to just execute as needed to be done, to take all the complexity involved in an event and just smooth out all the wrinkles so that everyone can just have a good time once they get there.
Well, they say mastery is nothing more than making the difficult easy.
Exactly.
But it takes practice and it takes a lot of work to get there. That's what people don't see. They don't see, and actually, I've run user group events that were nowhere near as big as that, maybe a couple hundred people, and there's a lot of coordination. And so when you're dealing with even more people and a lot more vendors and everything else, I think last year you had over 90 vendors, if I'm not wrong. It was pretty large.
Wow.
That's a lot of people to coordinate. And yes, when you do, the reason you do, like you said, all the calls for proposals early is because 9 out of 10, and I'm guilty, as many, will do it the very last moment.
It's very true. We anytime we have a recurring conversation at the Guild around call for proposals, and everyone always comes to me and says, where are we at? I'm like, I don't really care where we're at today because I know I'm going to get 50% of them within the last 48 hours. So it's just the nature. I don't get nervous. I literally just today I had a conversation with someone about it, and they said, are you concerned about the numbers? I said, I don't worry until I know there's something to worry about because we always hit the we always get a little nervous as we get close to it, but then we get the huge bump at the end that puts us well more. Within 48 hours, it shifts from "Are we going to get enough?" to "Wow, we have a lot to review."
That's amazing. Yeah, and of course, and even the attendees, what you have now isn't what always shows up. More show up. So
absolutely.
The last minute people go just expo only, or they do other things, and you may have a whole lot more than that. And plus, it's not a bad conference facility. The one at MGM, you're at the MGM Grand again, which is nice. It's huge. That hotel is so enormous.
Oh, it really is.
And we tell people that we know, don't go to the MGM. Go to the MGM Signature Suites next door, which are connected, because it's big room and it's not that expensive. I don't know. It's probably about the same price, but they're 3 non-smoking towers, and they're just. It's just like a quick walk through a tunnel, or it's actually through a bridge, and you're there. It's pretty darn cool. And then they have a monorail that takes you out to other places. It's a neat hotel. There's a lot of stuff in there, and
it really is. I mean, it's Vegas, so a lot of people want to explore, but it's such a big facility with so many resources that you could just stay in that building the whole week and be entertained and get everything that you need. Which for someone like me who doesn't get the chance to leave the building for the whole week, that works out very well.
That's true.
David, is there one thing at DevLearn that you would say top of the list, do not miss?
Oh, do not miss. That's a good thing. Can I give you more than one?
Yes.
All right, good. That'll make it easier for me. So for me, one of the highlights for me personally, I'll give you what I know from people and what is personal for me. For me, the highlight of DevLearn and really a lot of Guild events is always Demo Fest. It's a unique thing. It's where the community gets together. Practitioners in our field and vendors in our community get together to showcase what they're doing. It's kind of like a giant science fair where people bring their projects, they set them out on a table, and attendees get to just walk around informally, see these projects in action, speak to the people who designed and developed them, learn about the projects that they're doing and the problems they were looking to solve. It is by far one of the greatest learning experiences, and it exemplifies everything to me that our conferences are about. People just getting together, openly sharing what they can learn from one another with each other. It takes place in the evening. It's one of the best social and networking experiences, but the sharing that takes place it's just incredible to me.
And what's nice about that is that you actually see really good e-learning, not the type that most of us are doing all the time because the clients want something quick and dirty. You see some really fun, innovative stuff there.
Yes.
You absolutely do. You get a full scope of it's a nice microcosm in a way of the industry. I mean, you see the type of showcase stuff that you're talking about. Yeah. You also see the type of stuff that many of us are doing every single day that we have to do for our clients and for our organizations. So and you get to talk to the people that did them. You get to understand why this project might be a showcase project that a lot of effort went into, and why this one might have been a down and dirty, you got a call on Friday at 4 o'clock that I needed something by Monday type of project. So it's very real in that sense, which I really enjoy.
And you get to see all the different authoring tools and hybrid tools and everything else pretty much in action. That part alone is fun because it's like a demo not only of what people are building, but what each tool can do.
Absolutely.
And the feedback is probably invaluable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people always focus on the the value of the attendee, which is huge, to be able to go in and talk to these people. But one of the things I always encourage people, and that's why I encourage people to get involved in DemoFest to share your project, is the experience that you get as a person who's presenting at DemoFest, who's sharing their project, is enormous. I mean, the opportunity to have the industry come around, visit you, and give you feedback on your project, it's huge. I always get great feedback from the people who are presenting at DemoFest about what a valuable experience it was for them to be able to share and get feedback from people.
Yes. Because all of a sudden they're not just creating their project in their own little office, they're thinking out loud, they're showing out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You can tap into the collective brain.
Yes, and it is in the environment in which DevLearn and DemoFest takes place, it's extremely open to do that. People feel safe. They feel like no one's judging their work per se. They're just getting feedback on it and getting valuable input on the experiences that they're creating and how they can improve them. A lot of people some of the greatest things I love hearing from people is when they demonstrate something at DemoFest or when they attend people and they're coming out talking about the ideas that they got from the people that they interacted with. That's what it's all about.
Nice. Because it's all on such a professional level. These are not just, I just learned this and I'm trying this, but these are really actually people that are working on something that has been thought through. There's a concept there, there's a reason they're doing it, and there's a goal.
Absolutely. These are one of the things I love about DemoFest is not about doing a product demo. It's not about showing off a tool and what it can do. It's about showing off a solution or program that you developed that served a need. And that is what makes these projects so real, is that they're not just product demos. My organization had these three objectives that it needed to achieve. This is what we created to do it. What do you think? And it just makes it a very, very powerful and collegial experience amongst the attendees.
And what makes that real good too is when people go to shows, a lot of people say every show is the same. Well, they're really not. But when you see things like DemoFest, that's your place to get motivation. Because you go, hey, I never thought of doing it that way, or wow, that's pretty cool. And it's not that it's usually beyond the realm of anybody. It's just that many times people are working in that insular environment. They're doing what they can with what they have, and sometimes they just need that little spark, and they're off to the races with something new.
And it's funny. I mentioned that I would give them two answers to the original question about what's special, and you're tapping into what I would refer as the second thing, which is what I always hear from people. I mean, there's a lot of things that people get excited about with the conferences. You know, we got keynotes like Penn Jillette and some of the other keynotes that we have, and over 130 plus different sessions from people in our community. But when I ask people about why they come and why they come back, it's always about the people. It's always about the people that gather at this event and the spirit through which is permeated through their sharing. It is a unique. I don't say it because I work for the Guild. I work for the Guild because I experienced this as an attendee. It is a very collegial and open sharing relationship that people have. I mean, some of the greatest learnings that I've had at any conference, but specifically at the conferences that I have, they don't always take place in the session rooms. A lot of times they take place in the hallway conversations. And that's one of the things when I ask people, I say, what is it about DevLearn that you enjoy? What makes you come back year after year? They don't talk about the great sessions or the great keynotes. They talk about the people that they meet and they connect with at the event. It's just a very unique environment there that I feed off of every time I get to go.
Yeah, it's definitely one of our favorite shows to go to. It's probably our favorite show to go to. I may miss it this year, and I'm hoping I don't. We're in the middle of a move, and so hopefully we don't miss it because it might hit I'm hoping it hits the week before. Then we'll be there. But if not, we may have to miss it and just kind of watch the YouTube videos or something to see what happened. But we're hoping to be there.
Experience it through others.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, and I know every time we've gone, sometimes we've worked booths with other vendors just for the fun of it, and other times we've just gone and walked, or I've presented, and for us it's been a blast. It's always a good show to go to, and like you said, it's those, you're walking down the hallway and somebody calls your name. It's like, and next thing you know, you've got 10 people in a meeting. We're having a good time talking, not just work, but everything, and it's fun to get together with colleagues and everything else that are doing the same thing, going through the same good things and bad things, learning, solutions and everything else. So that is actually a lot of fun, and it's that value added you don't think about when you go there.
Absolutely. And then, you mentioned the fact, I hope you're able to join us, and it was great to see you there, but there are always people who want to go who, for one reason or another, are not unable to make it. Anyone who can't make it, we always have a lot of sharing that takes place on social media and through our on Twitter, on the back channel, #DevLearn is always a huge amount of content being shared there. We're planning on broadcasting a couple of the sessions from the conference on Facebook Live, on our Facebook page, so people can connect there.
Nice.
So there's a lot of great ways to get value from DevLearn, even if you're not able to join us this year.
Yeah, but it is a lot of fun.
Nice.
And, Vegas, I'm not a Vegas lover, but once you're there, you get into it. It's
Yeah,
like,
I hear that from a lot of people.
I'm not.
Vegas, but then a lot of people I wind up talking to are like, oh, I don't really like Vegas, and then I see them in the hallway. I said, you kind of seem like you're enjoying yourself here in Vegas.
Well, what I don't like is the smoke. It kills me. There's so much of it. It's like, I have a little bit of an allergy, so I'm like, okay, breathe, don't breathe. But other than that, it's fun. I love the lights. I mean, I love what they do architecturally with Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And you go to hotels like the MGM Grand, and you just think, how did they build this? It really
scale
is
is just unfathomable
enormous.
sometimes.
And you could walk, 15, 20 minutes just to get to the entrance to go to one of the other hotels, like New York, which is connected.
Oh, sure.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty large, and the conference area itself is huge.
Yeah, one of the things I do like very much about the MGM is that it is all self-contained, and it's got a dedicated conference center. So once if you're staying at the MGM, or if you're staying somewhere else and you get there, once you get to the conference center, it's not like other conference centers where you're walking around. You might be just bumping into someone who's walking through the casino as compared to being a conference attendee. When you get to the conference center, everyone there is a peer. Everyone there is someone that you want to connect with.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I really like about the MGM location.
Yeah, the conference area is nice. Even the expo area, it's a little bit outside of the main conference area, but it was pretty large. It was nice.
Yeah, the expo is huge. I mean, the expo's been growing every year. We're having again our biggest one that we've ever had.
Okay.
And the space that we have there we're glad it's big because it can accommodate everything that we need to do there. And I actually like the fact that it's a building one, like it's a not even 100-foot walk to get to it, but it's nice to be able to walk out and get the sun a little bit, go from one building to the other in the middle of the day.
Yep.
And transition from one to the other.
Mm-hmm. And it was a big building. I think you guys had at least 3/4 of it last time, and it was really big. It was a pretty big expo, and there was still room, like you said, in the back to even grow out more.
Exactly, and we have this year, which
have
is
you really?
great to see.
That's pretty
Wow.
cool. They had the funny.
We needed to expand the expo this year because one of the things we have new this year is there's so many vendors that are playing in the space and being innovative in the space of Experience API and all the technologies associated with that we dedicated a certain section of the expo that those vendors could gather and share with each other, and also it's a single place that people can go to learn what's going on in that space. So we're excited about that this year.
I'll tell you something funny about DevLearn last year. I was there early because I was working with the Trivantis folks, and it was really funny because there was this one lady who was blocking. She was the security guard. Nobody got in. And I said, no, we're with we didn't have our badges yet. And she goes, no, you can't get in. And I looked at her and I went, do you see that guy over there? Yeah, they're trying to break in. Ah! And she went running off. We walked in. That's the only way we could get in because we had to set up. But I mean, she was hilarious. Nobody got past this woman.
Oh yeah, they don't play around with security in Vegas.
That's what I thought. It is Vegas. They don't mess around because she was watching everything and everybody. But I pulled the old trick on her at work. They're trying to break in over there. Right over. Take a look over there. Really? Like a pit bull.
Sleight of hand in Vegas. Nicely done.
Oh man, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't get arrested later. You have 14 cameras on you at any one point. So, but that was funny.
In Vegas, that's for sure.
Yeah, but no, it was good. And there's even a nice food court right up the way from where the convention part is. So if you want a quick lunch and you don't want to eat there and you want to eat, the restaurants are really full. There's a huge food court right there. Yeah. That was good.
That's one of the things I like about the MGM. It's not some facilities. It's just if you want to eat, you got to go to a sit-down restaurant. It does have that. It does have that option that if you just wanted to get a quick bite, it's got plenty of options to do that as well.
No, that's true. They even had some really good bakeries and candy places. Oh, it's like a developer's.
Sometimes you need to just step away, take a break, let things just percolate in your mind.
Well, Linda, you'd be surprised how many impromptu lunches we all had. You're just walking down and 6 people are there. Hey, let's have lunch. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, just like you said earlier, the camaraderie of people you either meet only at shows or you know them from work or whatever else. And that's just a blast. It's fun.
really is.
And invariably, what do we talk about? Work. So,
Yeah, true.
so it's not like we're
Well-
screwing around. Everybody's just really working, talking ideas and tools and whatever else. So it is a lot of fun. It should be a great event. If you're not going, go. You'll have fun.
Absolutely. It is by far one of my highlights of the year. And like I said, if you're unable to join us in person, we'd love to see you there in person, but if you're unable to join us in person, follow us along online. There's going to be plenty of stuff that we're going to share from the conference with people who couldn't make it.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier that there's going to be a lot of stuff with the not 3D, but the virtual virtual reality, augmented reality.
Sure.
Do you see that as kind of getting into the mainstream yet in e-learning?
Not within e-learning, but I always, a lot of people say what technologies are going to be affecting education, and I tend to think that that's the wrong question. I kind of see, if you want to see how technology, the phrasing I often use is, if you want to see how technology is going to change the way we learn, you don't follow learning, you follow how technology is going to, if you want to know how technology is going to change the way we learn, follow how technology is changing the way that we live. And because I think that will naturally change. If something gets embedded into our day-to-day lives, like mobile did, it will naturally flow and evolve how we educate and how people expect to be learning. And I don't think virtual reality or augmented reality is there yet. It hasn't reached that tipping point within the e-learning space, but it is rapidly approaching there within the consumer markets. I mean, I just last week picked up the new PlayStation thing because I needed to do research, and it's there. It's on the consumer market. I mean, it's going to be impacting. It's going to be normalized through the consumer market. The fact that we have these devices like PlayStation VR and HTC Vive and Oculus Rift that are getting into the mainstream. We have the opportunity. That people are going to start expecting this as consumers. Now we have the opportunity to look at it from a learning perspective and say, well, what are the opportunities here? And I think it's going to be a similar path that we've seen before in terms of the hype cycle of people adopting it too early and doing things that it wasn't really meant for, and then the hype calms down a little bit and we get to some normalcy where we start to see some really powerful applications of what, and appropriate, more importantly, applications of how these technologies can be used. And I'm really excited to start exploring those examples. It was great to see that we had the opportunity and enough people who are early adopters playing in this space that we could place this special focus on it at DevLearn.
That sounds good. How was that,
Nice.
the PlayStation VR? Did you try it?
I have. It's extremely impressive. I say extremely impressive in the sense that it doesn't feel like a toy.
Okay.
It's obviously meant for gaming, but what excites me about VR is that the technology has finally caught up. I've done some other VR stuff in the last couple of years, and you don't get the head tracking right and things, and it's not in real time when you're moving. It's disorienting and it doesn't really work. But when you get it right, and the VR does that piece of it really well, it can be really powerful. And even though it's a gaming application, there is definitely applications that you can immediately see in learning. I mean, even something as simple as there's a game that you can use on it called Job Simulator, which is a total joking thing where you're at a desk and it's basically making fun of a day-to-day activity in the workplace. I mean, one of the first tasks you have to do in the game is to check your email, and you bring up your email box and 68,000 emails come through, and your job is to find the delete all button. It's all very much joking in that manner, but when you're in it and you're in this immersive environment, you realize, I mean, as much as it's all a big joke, I'm sitting in a simulation of an office environment. And what would happen if somebody took this seriously, and what would that mean? Just huge applications of it. I mean, I've been playing with it, and I have a couple of things that I've already started writing around, like, what are some of the things that I've learned about the potential of VR by playing with the PlayStation VR? Because there is a huge amount of opportunity there.
Now, David, I have to
Nice.
tell you, I recently bought a mechanical keyboard, one of the gaming keyboards, for my office here. Not because I really wanted a gaming keyboard. I wanted something that was corded, because I got tired of putting batteries in this one keyboard that was just killing
Sure.
me. So this mechanical keyboard, gaming keyboard, is so sensitive that every time I hit that delete key to delete those 68,000 emails, which I probably get on a daily, I deleted about 400 emails over the span of 3 days, like instantly. It's like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have to spend all
Oh,
my time
dear.
undeleting. So I got rid of the keyboard. It went over to my wife, who beats her keyboards up. She learned how to type on an old touch, non-electric typewriter, so she kills her keyboards. And
Oh, yeah.
but it was so funny. One bare touch and 200 emails are gone. I was like, no,
Oh, my goodness.
no, don't do this. It's frustrating, but it is amazing what the VR. I've seen some simulations of the VR. I haven't been on one of the later machines yet, and or visors, and it's pretty amazing. It's starting to look very real, less cartoony, very actually real. I'm actually holding out for that Microsoft HoloLens if they ever actually come out with it in a more. It's just I haven't seen too many people doing anything with it yet, but that could be
It's
really
still
interesting.
just for developers, but what I see from that is amazing. I actually think as much as I think VR has a tremendous amount of potential for learning and education, I actually think AR has the greatest potential for it. It's a little bit more accessible. It's an overlay on the real world,
Yep.
and I think we're going to see some really amazing learning and performance support opportunities coming through that. But HoloLens, yeah, I mean, even now we get on Skype to have this conversation, and I went into my audio options to set things up with us today, and I see that little thing in Skype that says install Microsoft HoloLens plugin, and
Yeah.
it's like taunting me like it's here, but you can't play with it yet.
I know. Yeah, I thought it was going to be out about a year earlier, and they claimed it would, but I guess they're still working on and developing. It takes a while to develop apps in it, but
Sure.
it looks interesting. It definitely
It's
looks.
going to be incredible when it comes out.
It will be, and that's probably more a little augmented reality from what they're showing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's going to be so cool. And nothing beats the military in terms of simulations. They do tons with this stuff.
Yep.
It's amazing how they train people for battlefields and everything else, and it's all virtual or augmented. It's pretty interesting. It'll come to us, and it's going to be here sooner than later, probably.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely coming. It's a matter of when. I have no doubt.
Yep. Well, David, we know you're really busy, and you got to get back and coordinate and do a little bit of cat herding today. Hey, we really thank you for coming on. I look forward to seeing you. I really do hope I can make the show, and I think
Yeah,
we
we
will.
will.
But Fios is our only. If we can get Fios installed before we leave, then we can leave. So if we don't, that means we have to wait because we're down. So that's the only thing we're waiting on right now, and that's going to determine can we get there. And I'm hoping we do. So I'll probably see you at the show. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and look forward to seeing you there. And wish you guys the best of luck in what you do with the show. I know it's always fun and it's always good. So looking forward to that. And Linda?
Yeah. Thanks, David. Thanks for giving us a little taste of DevLearn. I think the hive mind will just be great. You put like-minded people together, and that will be just, I think there'll be a lot to take away from it.
Thank you. Yeah, we always are thrilled with the takeaways people have from the event, and I'm looking forward to continuing that this year. Thanks again for inviting me and having the conversation today.
Oh, you're welcome, David. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
A number of different ways you can get me. You can always get me on Twitter at LNDDave, or you can email me at eLearning dkelly, that's Kelly, at eLearningGuild.com.
Great. Well, thank you much, and we'll put that in the show notes. And again, we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, and great success on the show.
Thanks. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one, everyone. Take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.